Before I jump into solutions, it's very important to understand the why or the science behind it so we don't just blindly follow. And don't worry, it's not complicated. No matter what conditioner you use, the common denominator is to get our wafer paper soft and pliable to work with. And because we all work in different environments with different humidity level, something which wafer paper is very sensitive to, there is no just one conditioner that you should use. I'm going to explain it all in this video with 3 different scenarios. In scenario number 1, for example, if you're working in a really dry environment with 30% humidity level and below, a great option to use to condition your wafer paper will be a glycerin plus water mixture. Since glycerin is a humectant, it helps to retain moisture. And it will work great as a conditioner because it will prevent the wafer paper from drying out and cracking as you're working on it. A good ratio that I recommend you guys to start trying will be a 6:1 water to glycerin ratio. Go ahead and adjust accordingly depending on your environment because this is just a guided ratio. You have to work it out in your own environment to know what works best for you. In the second scenario, if you're working in an environment like mine, where the humidity level usually hovers between 50 to 70%, then a great option to use will be vodka or any alcohol that is between 40 to 50% alcohol content level. They work great because it allows the wafer paper to soften when we brush the liquid on it, allows us to shape the petals, and as the liquid evaporates due to the alcohol content in it, it also allows the petals to dry up and stay its shape before we attach it onto the flower. And at this point, if you're thinking, can I just use water? The answer is yes, because water evaporates too. You just have to remember that water evaporates at a way slower speed than alcohol. So if you're using water, you have to be very sure how much liquid to use, which is very little because you really need it to soften and then hold up its shape before you attach it onto the flower. If you use too much liquid, it will take the entire day to dry, and if you use too little, it might crack. So you have to do your own experiment to work out what is the golden timing between painting the wafer paper and attaching the petal onto your flower. It does take a little bit of trial and error. Especially for cultures who could not use alcohol, water might be a good option, so do try it out. In scenario number 3, say for example, you're in an extremely humid environment, for example 70% and above, then what you want to do is use an even drier alcohol, maybe something that's above 70% alcohol content. And the reasoning is same as what I've spoken in scenario number 2. You need to allow the wafer paper to soften, to shape it, and then allow the liquid to dry up, to hold up its shape before you attach it onto your stamen or onto your flower. However, you have to remember, if you're constantly in a very humid environment, in the long run, the wafer paper will still start to soften and lose its shape. And here's a bonus. What if you do not want to use all these different liquids due to constantly changing environments? For example, if you're living in a country where there is summer and winter and the humidity level changes all the time, what you can do is you can either get a humidifier or a dehumidifier to always keep the humidity level in check. That means in a range that is always constant, so you can always keep to just using one main liquid as your conditioner. No matter what conditioner you're using for your environment, remember there is always a need for trial and error for you to get the hang of it and to understand what the conditioner does for your wafer paper. Learning takes time, so remember to be patient with yourself. I hope this helps to demystify what kind of conditioner you should use for your wafer paper, and remember there is no just one conditioner you can use. We all have different environments and we can use different conditioners. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.